Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. How are you, my dear students? I'm sure you're doing well. Now today we are going to deal with chapter 6, people to admire. Now people to admire means people whom we look with great respect and regards. Okay. Now in this chapter we have 4 main personalities. We are going to study about each one of them. Now the first one we have is Gautama Buddha. Now this was in very olden days, okay, like 563 BC he was born. BCE means before common era or before Christ. Here C means circa, means about, okay, approximately it was in this era. And so Gautama Buddha, when he was born, his name was Siddhartha and his father's name was Suddhodana. Now Suddhodana was a Kshatriya chief. He held a good position in Kshatriya chief, and his mother's name was Maya Devi. Now Maya Devi died when Siddhartha was born, okay, and he was born in Lumbini Grove near Kapilavastu, okay. This is in Nepal. So then his aunt or stepmother looked after him. His mother died, right? So his aunt Prajapati Gautami, she looked after Siddhartha, and he led a very luxurious life, very nice life he had, okay, and he married his cousin Yashodhara, he had a son named Rahula, everything was going good in his life. But whenever he used to see people with old age, disease or death, he used to feel very miserable. He used to feel very bad, okay, miserable means feeling very bad or sad, sorrowful. So one fine day, when he was just 29 years old, he decides he is going to leave everything, all the earthly ties, and he goes away, okay. He leaves his palace, his wife, his son, everything he leaves and he goes away. He goes and he starts meditating, and then he comes up with his teachings, okay. Now this time when he goes away, it is called the great renunciation. Renounce means to give up, okay. So he gave up everything and he goes away, and then he starts his teachings. Now he comes up with this thing that desire is the source of misery. Now here 2 words, desire and misery. Desire means wish or want for the unattainable. When you cannot get something, you know, when you desire something which you are not able to get, then you feel miserable, you feel bad or sorrowful, sad, okay. So he says that to be free from misery, you have to kill all your desires. And how will we do this? It is from his, by following his noble eightfold path, okay. In that doctrine he has mentioned how we can get peace of mind, understanding, wisdom by following his path. It is called nirvana, okay. And nirvana means giving up all personal desires and having peace. That is what Gautama Buddha taught. He also was against, you know, bad practices like killing, stealing, falsehood. He also taught that these things should not be done. And he also spoke about ahimsa. Now ahimsa means not killing any living creature, okay. They don't kill even an ant, okay. Now this Buddhism is practiced far and wide, like, you know, it's practiced in many countries like Sri Lanka, Thailand, China, Tibet, Vietnam and a few more places. They practice Buddhism. So this was about Buddha, and he also has his own Sangha, okay. He made his own Sangha where he has monks. They are also called bhikshus, okay. Now they spread this Buddhism far and wide. So this was about Gautama Buddha. So students, here we have Rajaram Mohan Roy. He was born in 1772. He was a very good man. He was a remarkable man, okay. He was a reformer. Reformer means the one who brings changes. He brought good changes in Indian society, and he was very educated, okay, and he knew so many languages. He knew Bengali, English, Sanskrit, Latin, French, Arabic, Persian, Hebrew, so many languages he knew. And he was quite troubled with the evil practices he saw in Indian religion and society. Okay, so he founded this Brahmo Samaj organization. He believed that there is only one God. He used to tell people the same. Okay, and he was against idol worship, and he was a pioneer of English education. Okay, pioneer means the first one to introduce English education and tell people to encourage them to learn English. And he also said that only when people study they can advance. He also encouraged them to study science. And he was against caste system, this giving low position to the woman, all those practices, he was against it. And he encouraged widow remarriages, and he used to tell that they should be given education as well. Girls should be given education. And he was against child marriage and other social bad practices. And he was the one who abolished sati. Now sati was a practice where the widow had to, she was forced to jump into the fire of her husband, okay, funeral. In the husband's funeral, she was forced to jump into the fire. So all those bad practices were followed in those days. So he was against all of them. And the abolition of sati, Lord William Bentinck, in those times he was the governor in India, and he helped him. And they passed an act in 1829 that it is a criminal offence. Following the sati is a criminal offence. He also supported the press, like they should be given the liberty and freedom to publish whatever is true. Okay, and he was a very inspiring personality, Rajaram Mohan Roy. He died in 1833. Now next we have Swami Vivekananda. Now Swami Vivekananda was as a child he was a very restless child, okay, and he was very active, in the age of 6 he learnt Ramayana and Mahabharata. He knew everything about it, okay, and he used to question, where is God, what is God, he had all those questions in his mind. And when he was born, his name was Narendranath. So then finally he meets his guru, okay, he meets a person named Ramakrishna, and he gets very inspired from him. Now this person Ramakrishna inspires him a lot. He had studied Bible, Sufism, Vedas, and all these religious books he had studied. So he gets inspired from him and he starts to follow his advice, okay. And then this Ramakrishna, he tells him to change his name as well. So then he changes his name to Vivekananda. Then he was called Swami Vivekananda. He was also a very educated person, and he encouraged people to practice Indian culture, okay. And he said he also went to Chicago and he attended the Parliament of Religions there, okay, and he gave a very famous speech where he introduced the people of America by saying my brothers and sisters, and it was a very hit speech, okay. And he was also against caste system, and he encouraged people to come up in life. Then he also gave a speech in England, okay, on lectures about Hindu philosophy and Vedanta, and he always promoted Hindu religion, and he was always told people that you have to be prepared to sacrifice so that you can come up from poverty and illiteracy. And he also started Ramakrishna Mission. Okay, now this Ramakrishna Mission is all over the world now. It teaches and promotes Hindu religion, dharma, and it also runs schools, it takes care of children, educates, and so on. So this was about Swami Vivekananda. He died when he was 39 years old. Okay, now who is this? We all know, right? She doesn't need any introduction. This is Mother Teresa. Okay, now we know how much she has achieved in life. Now let's see how she was in her childhood. Okay, now she was born in 1910 and she was not Indian born. Okay, she was born in Albania. To Albanian parents she was born in Macedonia, and she was the youngest of 3 children. Okay, she had a brother and sister and she was the youngest one, and she was always a humble, polite and helping child. Okay, she always used to help her brother, sister and anyone, you know, she used to like helping people every time. And then when she was 18 years old, she joined Sisters of Loreto. Okay, and there she got the name Sister Teresa. And then she came to India to teach. Okay, in 1929 she came to teach in St. Mary's High School in Kolkata. Okay, and from there she was like, you know, whenever she used to see poor people, she used to feel that she has to help them. She couldn't see people, you know, with extremely poor people, she used to help. And then to help such people, she started Order of Missionaries of Charity. Okay, 1947 she asked for permission to set up this charity, and then in 1950 this charity was set up. Okay, and extremely poor people were welcomed there. All the people who are very sick, you know, with deadly diseases, and nobody were ready to go near them. For such people she had opened this orphanage, this missionary. Okay, and then she continued this work and it spread in Kolkata. Okay, now they were known, like, you know, with this white sari and blue border, they were famous, they became famous like in Kolkata, like they helped the people, poor people. And then in 1962 she was given Indian citizenship. I told you, right, she was not Indian born. She came in India and spent a lot of time in India, and then she got Indian citizenship in 1962. She was awarded the Padma Shri for humanitarian work in 1962. Then in 1983 she rescued 37 children, okay, in Syria. Like this Israeli and Palestinian war was going on. So that time she requested them to stop the shootings, like the firings, and then from this hospital she rescued 37 retarded children. Okay, I mean, she has done a remarkable work. We have no words for her. And she served here for 50 years almost. Now she's got many awards. 1979 she got Nobel Prize for Peace. Okay, she took this award in the name of unwanted, unloved and uncared. Okay, because she was taking care of those kind of people, right? Then in 1985 she got Medal of Freedom. This was the highest US civilian award. Okay, and then she got Ramon Magsaysay Award, Jawaharlal Nehru Prize for International Peace, and then Pope John 23rd Peace Prize and Bharat Ratna. She's got many awards. She is a remarkable woman, and so these were the 4 inspiring people we studied today. So now read your textbooks thoroughly. Jazakumullahu khairan.